I want to start out by saying, our sincere sympathies to, El Paso and right here at home in Dayton. Should have mentioned something yesterday about it, and I'm sorry about that. And also Don Banks. He was just here Thursday, first time I'd met him, and boy, what a wonderful, wonderful guy. So sympathies go out to, thoughts and prayers to his family. I know he'll be missed by you guys too. So, any questions?
Freddie, we don't get to see it tomorrow, so can you tell us how you plan to use the starters and all for this game coming up?
I don't know yet. We're just trying to get through tomorrow.
Should fans expect to see Mayfield and Beckham at all?
I hadn't decided.
What about the whole preseason in general? How much do you think the starting offense needs to play together, or do they get enough work in practice where that's secondary is how much work to get in the preseason?
Well, I think they definitely need to play together, and we'll monitor that as it goes along from the standpoint of their timing and stuff like that. I mean, our practices are pretty physical from that standpoint. So, we'll see. We'll monitor that, the relationship the receivers and the quarterback have together, their timing, stuff like that. So a lot of things factor into those questions, and I'm not trying to dismiss it. Some of it has to factor into who's available.
Will kickers alternate kicks or alternate games?
We haven't decided that yet.
The fact that you're practicing.
I'm not going to talk about what we're going to do in playing time
The fact that
yet.
you're practicing against the Colts though next week, will that be a factor?
That definitely factors into it. And you hit the nail on the head. Because, we expect to have some physical, get better type practices with the Colts. And I'm pretty sure Frank wants the same thing. So, you've got to factor in all those things. And, ultimately you want to get your guys, in September, you want to get them there healthy. But there's a fine line between getting them there healthy and getting them there battle hardened, battle tested for what's going to happen. Because, from this moment on, they're never going to feel perfect until February. So, we got to get used to playing like that.
Freddie, you worked with Nick a lot last year. Can he be one of the elite backs, or is he already there in your opinion?
Well, I don't like to rank guys. I just know Nick is everything that we want in a football player, from the standpoint of how he approaches the game, how he approaches practice, how he approaches every time he's got the ball in his hands, every time he's pass protecting, every time he's running routes. Nick works his tail off every time he crosses the white line.
Freddie, you called the team together not once but twice today. I don't know if that's a record or you've done it before, but were you unhappy with the energy or mistakes?
Well, we just, we recognized the problem last night. I wanted to remind them of the problem that we had yesterday's practice, and that's part of the learning process, of recognizing when something's starting to slide and putting a stop on it right then. This is training camp, so that's the time to practice those sort of things. The other time was just to give them the situation that we were about to do.
Practice ended with the 2-minute drive?
Yeah, I did. It's ebb and flows of games, of the practices dictate or is a precursor sometimes of games, because games you have ups and downs, and you do that in practice. I want to see us come back from the downs, and I think we did that at times today. Again, it's all a learning process, guys. Everybody's trying to get better collectively, individually, collectively as a team to overcome some of those obstacles that present themselves in the course of practice, which we're trying to simulate, present themselves as like a game.
Any questions specifically you hope get answered at least partially Thursday?
I just want to see these guys compete against other people. You have to have a measuring stick at some point with your down the line guys up against their guys of the same nature. I want to see some guys that may have plenty of playing time compete against their good guys. So, it's all about competing for me, and seeing how they compete against other guys. I mean, they've been competing against each other pretty good for the last 2 weeks.
Did Denzel Ward tweak something on that long surgery?
He did. I don't know how severe it is or anything like that yet, but I'm pretty sure he'll be okay.
What about Kalis?
Kalis did something to an individual. I haven't got the latest, but I think he had a stinger or something like that. Not really sure.
Gotcha. Hey, back to Nick for a second. So yesterday he said that the one carry that he regretted most last year was his first one of the season. What does that say about him that he would pick out a play like that? And is it unusual for a young guy to be as critical as Nick is about the way he plays?
Depends on how good they want to be. I think Nick wants to be very, very good. Is it unusual? Yes, I think it is. But I think we need more people like Nick. Of course, he's going to be critical. And you know what? That tells you that every rep to him matters. He's going to remember something a year ago. Was he talking about the preseason? Or
He was talking about the Pittsburgh game, the openers for his very first carry.
Yeah.
So it could have been a big one. He
Yeah.
let it go.
Yeah, well, the first preseason game could have too. You can dig him on that one.
He could have had 1,000 if he had busted that one.
Well, let me tell you something about Nick Chubb. All right, and this sums it up for him. He went over 1,000 yards. All right, and then the next carry was a loss of 3 or 4. I don't remember the specifics. It's a loss of 3 or 4. Not a word was mentioned about it. Not a word. And I even apologized to him. But not a word was mentioned about going up under 1,000 after he had 1,000. So, that tells you where Nick Chubb is and what he's here for, and how he approaches the game and what the game is about for him. It's about winning. It's about winning a championship. It's about putting yourself in the best position possible to succeed individually and then collectively as a team.
Mac Wilson's been able to string days together with breakups and interceptions. What's been working for him?
I think some of these guys, come out of school and they're swimming. There's a couple of different phases of their swimming here. One of them's in the spring when they're first initiated into it. The second is when the mini camps and OTAs start, when the speed picks up a little bit. And the third, they start swimming again, when the pads go on. Things start going a little faster. So it's a process for those guys. That's why you have training camp, is to get some of those things worked out. But I've been very pleased with Mac in the last 3 days. But we need to keep stringing days together, everybody. Needs to just string days together. And you do that by just walking on the field and making the best of that day and that rep and so on.
I know we've asked you a lot about right guard in general, but Austin Corbett, there are a lot of high expectations for him coming in. What does he need to do better to establish himself and give us a chance to see that job?
Well, I think it's an ongoing solution with all offensive linemen. They need to make sure they get their feet in the ground, good hand placement, and good pad level. And he's no different. Everybody else is working on the same things he's working on.
Do you see him get discouraged at all, just because I think people expected him to be the guy and he hasn't been the guy?
Well, again, if you start listening to outside noise, that's what happens. So that's what I've been urging him not to do. So if he's getting discouraged with what you guys are saying, then he's wrong. He needs to be worrying about what he's doing.
What do you guys like about Cush to kind of give him this chance to be out there and get some consistency and see what he does with it?
Yeah, we like Cush. That's why he's here. But again, he needs to string together days, just like you guys said yesterday. They need to string together days of good days, consistent days. I don't mind not being the best at anything. I just want to know what we're getting when you go out on the field.
Does he get that shot because he's got the most experience in the league, or has he done something in the camp to earn it?
I don't know that he gets the shot because he has experience in the league. We judge off what we've seen, and that's where it starts, and that's a fluid situation.
Couple more.
Obviously, you talked about using Dale in all these positions. When he's in the slot, what do you like about him?
Well, again, his skill set is pretty good from the standpoint of he can play outside and play inside. And you like his quickness and his change of direction and his ball skills on the inside and his competitive nature on competing for the ball. Sometimes you just got to compete for the ball. The ball's in the air, it's your ball. Sometimes you just got to go get it, all right? And you got to take it away from them. So that's what I like about him.
Even though Odell was out yesterday, it looks like he and Baker just continued to progress in there comes I think at one point Baker like a fake spike throughout the Odell. Are you seeing that too?
Yeah, I think every rep to them matters, and all of them are important during this time of year for everybody. He and Jarvis, Higg, all those guys. They need as many reps as they can get.
Do you like the idea of having 3 quarterbacks, or would you be comfortable if you only had 2 on your 53 man?
Well, I'm probably not the best person to ask that because I was in Arizona when we carried 2 quarterbacks and we lost one and then lost one in the game. The most nightmarish situation that you could have. And 2 weeks in a row, we signed a quarterback on Wednesday or Tuesday and played with him on Sunday. So I don't want to be in that situation.
So then, has Garrett Gilbert showed you that he can be a number 3 in this league through what he's seen so far?
Well, I mean, we like Garrett. I like Garrett on what he's done up to this point, but we ain't even started playing preseason games yet. So I don't know about the final. I don't want to crown him just yet.
With that background, you're the perfect guy to ask that question.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, it may not be the answer y'all are looking for. So y'all trying to get our 53-man roster set, and we're not even first preseason game yet. Man.
Got to think ahead.
Yeah.